In a faraway land lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. She had a stepmother, the Queen, who was very vain. The stepmother asked her magic mirror, and it responded,
"Thou art the fairest of all the women, my queen."
As the years passed, Snow White grew, and every day she became more beautiful. One day, as always, the Queen asked her magic mirror,
"Who's the fairest in the kingdom?"
But this time, the mirror answered,
"The most beautiful is Snow White."
The Queen, full of anger and envy, ordered a hunter.
"Take Snow White into the forest, kill her, and bring me her heart in this box as proof of having completed my order."
But when they reached the forest, the hunter felt sorry for the innocent girl and let her escape, replacing her heart with that of a boar. Snow White saw that she was alone, and she became scared and began to cry. She spent the night walking and crying until, at daybreak, she reached a clearing and found a beautiful little house. She entered without hesitation. The furniture was very small, and on the table were 7 little plates and 7 tiny knives and forks. She climbed up to the bedroom, where there were 7 small beds. Poor Snow White, exhausted from walking through the forest all night, pushed all the beds together and immediately fell asleep. In the afternoon, the owners of the house arrived. 7 little dwarfs that worked in the mines. They were amazed to find Snow White. She then told them her sad story. The dwarfs begged the girl to stay with them, and Snow White agreed. She was to stay and live with them, and everyone was happy. Meanwhile, in the palace, the Queen again asked the mirror,
"Who is the fairest in the kingdom now?"
It is still Snow White, who now lives in the woods in the dwarf's house.
Furious and vengeful as she was, the cruel stepmother disguised herself as an innocent little old woman and set off for the tiny house in the forest. Snow White was alone as the dwarfs were working in the mine. The wicked Queen offered the girl a poisoned apple, and when Snow White took the first bite, she fainted. When the dwarfs returned late at night to the house, they found Snow White lying on the floor, pale and still. They thought that she had died, and they made a glass case so that all the animals of the forest could say goodbye to her. However, days and months passed, and Snow White stayed just as beautiful as ever. So the dwarves left the case with Snow White inside so they could still see her. One day, a prince appeared riding on a spirited steed. And as soon as he saw Snow White, he fell in love with her. He wanted to kiss her goodbye, and suddenly Snow White came back to life. The kiss of love from the prince broke the spell of the evil queen. Snow White married the prince, and they drove out the cruel queen, and everyone lived happily ever after.